Okay, hypothesis. A hypothesis is a clear, testable statement that predicts a relationship between variables. For example, in educational research, a hypothesis may state that students start using interactive teaching methods, achieve higher academic performance than those taught using traditional lecture methods. Function of hypothesis provides specific aspects of research problem to investigate, helps to collect pertinent data, enhance the objectivity of the research result, powerful tool for advancement of knowledge. Research question work as a hypothesis do and the objectives can be mirrored by research questions. Therefore, all these terms do similar work, but not only they are stated differently. The most important is they suggest research methodology, types of data, information, data analysis, and interpretation. If you develop objectives or research questions, you need to collect qualitative information and analyze thematically. If you develop hypotheses, you have to test those hypotheses. Hypothesis testing, before going to test the null hypothesis, you need to know the following concept. Level of significance, alpha level. The level of significance is the criterion for the rejection or not rejection of a null hypothesis. Commonly used alpha is in psychological, sociological, and educational research are 0.05 and 0.01. The alpha 0.05 indicates that there is less than 5 chances of sampling error out of the 100 times, or there is a 95% confidence for rejection of the null hypothesis. Same concept applies in 0.01 level 2. Degree of freedom generally expressed as degree of freedom n minus k, where k is the number of constant or parameters, for example, mean, median, mode, quartile, standard deviation, etc. To understand this concept, imagine you are asked to pick any 5 numbers n equal to 5 without constant degree of freedom 5. If there is no rules, you can pick any 5 number you like. For example, 5, 7, 11, 19, 20. Every single number is free. So in this case, degree of freedom, there is no parameter. So n minus 0 equal to 5. With a constant degree of freedom 4, for example, we suppose you are told the mean of these 5 numbers must be 10. You can still freely choose the first 4 numbers, example 5, 7, 11, 19. However, once those 4 are chosen, the 5th number is no longer a choice. It must be a specific value to ensure the sum of all 5 numbers equals to 50, since 50 over 5, 10. In this example, the sum is 42. To erase the sum of the 50, the last number must be 8. Because you lost one free choice to satisfy the mean, the degrees of freedom becomes degree of freedom n minus 1, so 4. In this example, that is the only one parameter, so n minus k, k equal to 1. So n minus 1. 5 minus 1, that is the 4. Five minus 1 equal to 4. One-tail and two-tail test. One-tail test is directional test, which indicates that direction or difference between the two groups. For example, it's not the achievement of the students taught by the existing teaching strategies is lower, higher than the those taught by newly explored teaching strategies. Two-tail test is non-directional test, which indicates that there is no direction of the difference between the two groups. For example, S not a null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between achievement of student taught by the existing teaching strategies and newly explored teaching strategies. Alpha and beta error. Uh, Rejection of null hypothesis is not when it is the really true or is not is wrongly rejected, known as the alpha error, also called type 1 error. Alpha error occurs if we conclude that the two groups produce different outcomes when in fact there is no difference in the outcomes between two groups. Not rejected of S naught when it is really false, or S naught null hypothesis is wrongly not rejected, known as the beta error, also called type second error. Beta error occurs if we conclude that the two groups produce same outcomes when in fact there is a difference in outcomes between two groups. Decision of null hypothesis calculated value is to compare with the table value at the desired level of the significance and degree of freedom. If the calculated value is equal or greater than the table value, then null hypothesis is rejected. Statistical analysis for the hypothesis testing. There are two types of tests, parametric and non-parametric. Parametric test makes the assumption about the characteristics of the population, whereas the non-parametric tests do not make any assumption about the characteristics of the population. Parametric tests are used when the variables are measured either in interval or ratio scale, whereas a non-parametric test use the variables are measured at a nominal or ordered scale. The example of the parametric test, t-test, z-test, and f-test. Similarly, the most commonly used example of the non-parametric test is the chi-square test. Our purpose here is not to discuss the different types of the statistical techniques. So consider the example of null hypothesis that you have developed in the previous class. Okay, in the null hypothesis, there is no significance or difference between the achievement of the great students taught by the existing strategies and the newly explored teaching strategies. Okay, it's not. There is no meaningful difference in the achievement of the grade students are taught using the old teaching methods and those taught using the new teaching methods. If you want to test significance of difference between two groups of means, you should use either t-test or z-test. However, there is one basic difference between t and z-test. When the sample size is the less than 30, you have to test t-test. Otherwise, you have to z-test. If you want to test the significance of difference more than two groups, you need to f-test. Let's say there are less than 30 samples students, then you have used to t-test, and that is the one question F. You have to consider still how the two groups of data are obtained or groups are formed. If two groups of data are obtained from the same group or correlated group or not randomly assigned group, you have to use the following formula. And if the two groups of data are obtained as randomly selected, two different groups or independent sample, you have to use the formula to calculate t value. Data analysis analyze the significant difference between the means of the two groups from the following values. Decision, since our calculated result is greater or less than the benchmark value found using our alpha level, degrees of freedom, and test type, we reject or fail to reject. The starting assumption. This means that is or is not meaningful difference in the our data. Significance result. Use this version if you calculate a larger than the table value. The calculated value is greater than the table value. This is the null hypothesis rejected. That is the significance difference. Non-significant results. Use this version if your calculated value is smaller than the table value. The calculated value is less than the table value. The null hypothesis is accepted. There is no significance difference. Okay, it's all about hypothesis. Thanks for watching and request you all like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for patience. That's now bye bye. See you.